our website, mohawkvillaliving.com.
It's time for the Cooper Group's road trip to New York Mills. We're traveling in a 2008 Chevy Impala, courtesy of Seaweaver Chevrolet on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. The history of New York Mills begins shortly after the Revolutionary War, when Congress passed the Embargo Act of 1807. The community prospered with America's lessening reliance on British goods, creating a boom for the area's textile and manufacturing industries. New York Mills founding families, the Walcotts and the Campbells, were leaders in the textile industry and constructed 3 groups of mills and a bleachery. Their legacy can be seen in the community's buildings, parks, and churches.
It's time for the Cooper Group.
There are many, many parks here in New York Mills of which the residents are very proud. The bell behind me was originally in mill number 2, and if you go back those many, many years, the bell played a very significant role. Here's why. At 9 o'clock it was rung every night, and that meant it was a curfew. And by 10 o'clock there were 2 members of the mill that would go patrolling the streets to be sure that the lights were out in all of the homes here in New York Mills, I assume so that people would be ready to go to work the following morning and get a good night's rest. The bell in the park was from mill number 2. When mill number 2 was dismantled, a senior housing project was built in its place, and it is a replica of the mill. Right in front of it is a memorial to those who died on 9/11. One thing we've found over the last couple of weeks is that when you're in this area, the municipal boundaries tend to be all over the place. There's Whitestown, there is New Hartford, Yorkville, and New York Mills. Where I'm standing right now, there's a place that's been here for quite a few years. It's historic, it's traditional, and it is located on all 4 of those boundaries and municipalities. It's Twin Ponds.
This was originally the Campbell estate, and my family took it over in 1946 and built another 9 holes to make it an 18-hole golf course, and then that time changed the name to Twin Ponds Golf and Country Club. The Campbell was a black Angus beef farm, to my knowledge, back in their day, and we've built off of the original carriage house. My family has since added the additions you see to the property to turn it into the banquet hall. I'm the 3rd generation running the property with me and my dad, Joseph, and people come here and play golf. We're open to the public. We have the banquet facilities. It's open for weddings, showers, banquets, testimonials. It's been in the family since 1946, like I said, and I've just been working here and taking over. It's just something I love to do every day.
Aside from the golf course, and aside from this beautiful building, you should find an excuse, any excuse, to come here to have the potatoes. As a part of my memory, they go back for as far as I can remember. And I asked the owner the name of them. They're the Broadbent Potatoes. Here they are, uncooked right now. But memories for me will always include the taste of these potatoes. We don't know what Brabant means, but that's what they're called. And they were started many, many years ago by a chef who just put this together, and it is, in my opinion, one of the famous trademarks here at Twin Ponds. When you come here to Twin Ponds, you can stroll through these formal gardens, and it's as if a garden sprung up out of a green, because the grass is actually the same as the greens out on the golf course. And if this season is anything like last year, we're going to be in luck, because the golf course was open until January the 16th. Here in New York Mills, you will find the old right next to the new. I'm standing in front of one of the older establishments, DND Sports. It's named after a father and son team, Delecta and Delecta, who opened the store. You can come here and meet a certified fly fisherman, And beyond that, he can also make for you a fly to your specifications. This one is called an autumn siren, and I am told that it is guaranteed to catch the largest trout either in the West Canada Creek or the Black River.
John Bianco teaches fly casting on the Twin Ponds, where DND Sports holds a fishing derby for kids every summer. John also teaches fly tying classes at DND Sports starting in January.
Next to D&D is a new age gift shop called the Jade Fox. You can get anything and everything here, including stones. This one happens to be the stone for the month of October. It is the rose quartz, and it signifies love. And wouldn't you know, my wedding anniversary is in October. Another of the founding families here in New York Mills was the Walcott family. They gave all of the money to build this church back in 1881. It was called the Walcott Presbyterian Church. Now it's the Calvary Gospel Church. There's a service here tonight at 6:30. If you can find the time to come, do that and come inside this church to feel the history of New York Mills and also to enjoy the sun coming through some beautiful, beautiful stained glass windows.
Dick Cael graduated from the Bulova School of Watchmaking in New York City and worked for 14.5 years at Engelbert's Jewelers. Although there seems to be plenty of watch repair work, there are few who practice the trade.
From what I understand, I'm the only one formally trained. Now, there may be some others, and maybe they do the same thing I do. They just don't advertise because of the sheer volume that's available out there. Actually, a person could just, if they wanted to just specialize and do watches from the 1940s, you could do your Elgins, Walthams, you could just do pocket watches. So, you know, it's basically a 50-hour week. I mean, I've always been interested in the small, intricate things. And it just seemed that for me, fortunately, I just fell right into it.
When you get to heaven where the angels sing, God will grant you peace, you learn your ways. Sing a song.
At the end of Cottage Street in New York Mills, there's a cemetery known as Glenside Cemetery. The land for it was donated by the Campbell family. They're buried here. And they donated the money to build the first Civil War monument in Oneida County, which was built more than 135 years ago.
Whether fate or destiny or plans from somewhere above.
Just over the border from New York Mills here on Campbell Street, as a matter of fact, across the street is New York Mills. Here on this side of the street, we are in Yorkville. I'm standing in front of Carmels Restaurant and Bakery, and it is another example of the international flavor here in the Mohawk Valley. The odds are that if you are eating fresh pita bread anywhere in the area, it was baked right here at Carmels. And when you come here to have some of this delicious Lebanese food, be sure to top it off with the Turkish coffee. I can tell you one thing about it, it is guaranteed to put hair on your chest, and trust me, I don't have any, or I didn't have any when I came here, but I do now.
I came from Lebanon, 1970, the beginning of 74. Because all my family here, like, you know, from way back, from 100 years or more. My mother's parents, you know, they were married here, they went back to Lebanon, then they come back. So I follow them. It started as a bakery, and people will come from out of town. This is the only bakery in this area. There was another one, but burned down. And they come, they say, well, how about if we want to have a cup of coffee? So we put a couple of chairs for the coffee. Then they say, we want to have something to eat. We're not going to go to another restaurant. So we start with the food. And that's how we start with the food and everything else. They like it because it's like they serve their own. They see that seagull, and if they need something, they go pick it up by themselves. And they feel like that's their own home. And everybody's welcome. And everybody tease me. It's like fame where everybody knows your name. That's how it is here.
After you've had the coffee, mention that you saw them on Mohawk Valley Living and ask for them to perform. And then remember that what you see him doing there, he's actually grinding Your coffee.
It's time